And so that's why I got into, you know, like helping entrepreneurs, building businesses.
I didn't expect that conversation to. I was like, because I'm very much into all of everything you're saying. Like I make
more people are than not. I talk about transcoding because I channel, and I always say that highly complex ideas need to be shared or seen to raise other people's vibration. Even for my own life, like my life starts with a simple prayer before I meditate that God puts 10 people in front of me that I can help, right? This is simple service, but I'll walk off a stage and talk about gratitude, and it's as if they hadn't been told anything about gratitude. Because you're truly channeling a higher level of awareness of gratitude. So for example, you can say, most people know what appreciation is. Well, I would say, well, gratitude's deeper than just being grateful for what you attract. It's everything comes through us, and we're vehicles of appreciation, meaning we have to add value, but we don't add value until we've given it away, right? We don't know what we have. And so for you to have all these extraordinary ideas that vibrate really fast, you have a heightened level of awareness, which is why you're successful at what you do. You know, it's until you've been able to give it away. And even, you know, these guys laughed at me when they started doing my following. I had 200 followers last November. But I had a frequency. Like I had 200 engaged followers. They were asking me questions, I was helping them. And they're like, what's your biggest fear? I was like, by next November, it's gonna break because I have to have, it has to be me. And as it gets to hundreds of thousands and millions, like, it's crazy. But I would highly encourage you not to make it about the following, but to allow your, because you have a frequency, allow your frequency.
I don't really look at the metrics. You know, like I used to look at the metrics, but now, I don't know, man. I think that there are so many other ways to create value.
Yeah.
You know, that I don't necessarily have to look at the metrics and go, oh, like, yeah, there's 1 million people on here, but if there's 1 million people on there and neither of you are creating value, then there's no mutual relationship, you know, like, then what's the point?
Well, it's like Ronaldo, right? He's the #1 Instagram person. We were with his agent earlier today, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, but what, like, people are just it's like a Kardashian. So you put a naked picture of yourself up there. What are you actually out? You're entertaining. You know, it's nothing than a commercial for yourself.
Social media has replaced the magazine. You know, so before, like when a 12-year-old kid would go buy a what 17. Now they don't do that. They, you know, like you want to know what to wear, like you go on to some like Instagram model saying, oh, like, yeah, I'll just dress like that. It's, you know, so like the dynamic has changed. But for me, I really think that the pendulum has swung so far right that it's probably gonna swing back to like I kind of hope that we're gonna re-enter age of common sense where people look at the internet and they go, okay, cool. Like,
well, hoping in America we start today.
What's that?
I'm hoping in America we start today. We have
fingers crossed, right?
All of that. But then again, it's our generation too. We have to be aware of that.
Yeah. Well, I have 3 teenage daughters, and I'm well aware of. They must be so fearful. You know, I had a conversation with my 19-year-old. I was like, tell me about what you're afraid of, which a lot of parents don't ask, because when you ask a child what they're afraid of, you know where you can help. Right? And so when they're afraid that there's not going to be enough, when all I teach is you live in a world of more than enough, that everything already exists, it's a world of allowance. You have to teach yourself to allow things to happen. The last thing I want is for you to live in a scarce world where there's not enough, you know, there's not going to be enough air, water. And all 3 of them had the same fears, that we live in a world of not enough. And I said, I was born into 6 kids and a single mom. You would think I would have had an energy of not enough, but because my mom loved me and reduced the amount of ego and fear and time, that I just have this feeling all the time that there's so much out there. Now I just want to help other people access it. And I think, you know, from the due diligence that I see, I love people that through their art and their skills allow other people to access that. Wow, there's more than enough. I'm inspired, right? That's where you know.
How do you reduce ego and fear?
Well, awareness. So for me, #1 is educating people about time. So, you know, most people don't talk about the purpose of time. I look deeply into the purpose of time. The purpose of time is to keep us present. Everybody's time is individually theirs. So past is only part of your time. Your future obviously is only, but unless you understand present and how to be present with time, because you can bend time. I can show you in India all types of different meditation that actually, when you're inspired, time can go like this. But it also can be lengthened out when you're inspired, when you're in spirit. And so where people get stressed is that time constricts everything. They put I'll be happy if I do this by this time. Well, time's a man-made construct. I could change time right here. In fact, it changed Saturday for me. It went an hour backwards. But people get caught up. Then the ego is based off of a fear of loss. It's the need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be superior, inferior, separate, anxious, fearful, guilty is another one. And so by teaching people the needs of the ego instead of just some obtuse Freudian use of the ego and the id, etc., but truly practical, saying, okay, what you're feeling now is an illusion. It's created by the ego because you have a fear of loss. You feel offended, but that's an illusion. I can't do anything about that other than teach you that and make you aware of, hold on, when I feel this way, I go back. I'm a firm believer in meditation in any form to go back to center. It's a baseline for life. So where my life changed was, instead of trying to plow through everything, creating obstacles, voids, and shortages for me to overcome and create a hero, grew up from nothing, instead, if anything goes to the ego or time, my first step is how quickly can I get back to center? And I think people just don't get that as easily as it's taught, but that's the mission that I'm on, is to get people out of their own way, to get them to believe. I did this thing on the lottery because it drove me crazy. My wife, she plays a lot. We have more than enough for the rest of our lives and maybe my kids, but she's playing the lottery. We can win $1.6 billion. I said, yeah, but $1.6 billion already exists. You don't need to pay $2 to access it. Right? You should be working on yourself and allowing if that's what you want, then work through what you want, why you want it, and how we can allow it to happen. And usually when it really comes to you is when you're ready, when your vessel is big enough to receive, and put people in receivership by taking time and ego out of the way. If I'm in receivership, I'm a vessel to add value to give to other people. And the same thing's true with music, with art, whatever it is, it comes through us. And where I live, I lost everything in my 30s. I was a multimillionaire. I had golf course ski. I lost everything. I mean, they took things out of my house, cars.
How did that happen?
Because, good question. I had a ski mountain, a golf course, 33 homes in San Diego, and I had equity. Well, I got into a lawsuit with a neighbor who sold me a condo conversion for millions of dollars. Well, I had a need to be right. And my wife, she was like Tabasco on it too. I wanted to protect her, my ego. So I spent all my money, millions of dollars cash, thinking, I got all these properties, I'll just borrow. If I need more money, I'll sell one, I'll borrow one. Well, what happened was the economy started going down. I couldn't sell it fast enough, but I still had equity. So I go to the bank, I said, hey, I got $60 million of equity. Can I borrow some of my money? I'm gonna pay for this lawsuit. And they said, no. I go, what do you mean? It's my money. I said, no, it's the bank's money. We don't have to let you borrow. I had no mentorship, another ego mistake. I was Midas, everything. From law, I was a millionaire 9 months out of law school, right? I made money, everything I touched turned to gold. And I believed that. Never asked for a mentor. I never had a financial guy to tell me, banks cannot let you borrow money even if you have equity. That one subtle mistake created a snowball, right? I'm looking for money, trying to sell things, begging for credit. Now my credit goes down because I'm out there applying for credit. My properties are going down. The banks are going broke, so they're holding on to my money. They don't want to give it to me. And sure enough, I literally could have fought more, but I didn't want to walk away from my bankruptcy owing anything. I was joking around, I think in my bankruptcy I'm maybe one of the few people that probably had a surplus and just started over. But I had my skills, I had my knowledge, I had my desire. I told my wife, I said, when I graduated law school, $100,000 in law loans, I knew nobody. I came from Akron, Ohio, right, born into this single mom. We weren't connected. I had a law degree, but I never had a job. And within 9 months, I made $1 million. Now, I've been good to people. I know a ton of people, and I have all these skills. How am I not gonna make money? Plus, I started learning about unconscious competency. My energy and genetics attract money. That's not my problem. Holding on to it was because I had worthiness issues. To that point, I thought everything, I wasn't ever a victim. I was happy. Things weren't happening to me. I was all, everything happens for me. Well, what happened was my vessel wasn't big enough. So what happens when you make that much money and everything's for you, you get rid of it. You don't know, you feel guilty, you feel unworthy. Now that everything happens through me, I'm a receiver. Like, I'm big enough for everything to come to me because I know I drive a Chevy Volt. Like, some people don't even believe it. I'll do videos instead of those idiots in front of private jets. I'm like, I'm flying Southwest so I can afford to pay shipping because I'm not just going to give you my book for free. I'm not going to charge you shipping, right? I'm paying for this myself because I want to improve the universe. And funny thing is, when you're in receivership, the flow, Wayne Dyer was one of my mentors, Power of Intention, one of my favorite books, and he talks about, oh my God, everything just happened through me, and like I'm living that life now. Like, how do you explain it to people? There's more than enough. And so that's why I got into, like helping entrepreneurs, building businesses.
Like that conversation too. I was like, because I'm very much into all of everything you're saying. Like, I made it.
More people are than not, believe it. I'm just old enough and brave enough to talk about it.
Wow.
Especially in the scarcest industry, sports and entertainment. You should see how many like owners of teams that I sit with, and I'll start talking, and they're like, "Oh my God, there's a lot of people." Because it's the truth. I say the truth vibrates the fastest. We can only be aware of that which vibrates equal to or less than us. So I consistently try to increase my vibration by the enjoyment of the consistent, everyday, persistent without quit pursuit of my potential, my truth. My truth as a father, my truth as a husband, my truth as a community member, as an agent, as whatever I am, as an entrepreneur. That's my truth, and it keeps me happy because I'm in pursuit. Yeah, so it's cool. I really wanted to come meet you guys to see how I could be of service. There's certain, like I said, people that I'm attracted to. I'm looking down a list. I was like, I just have a feeling these are my type of people. And asked Bradley if maybe we could meet up, and I'd love to be of service to you guys. However, whatever you could think of ever.